How's everyone doing? Coach Bartosik here. I wanted to make a video and get it sent out in reference to a question I've been getting a lot in the local community lately, obviously specifically more from soccer parents. And that question being, what can we do to, what do you need us to do? How can we help? What do we need to do to get high school soccer, to make high school soccer a thing here in Higginsville? And whether these parents are parents from the players I coach right now, so roughly, the biggest crowd is ninth grade, or seventh grade parents, so middle school kids. I'm even starting to get questions from elementary kids who are in elementary. Their parents are starting to basically ask all the same questions. So with getting that question so many times, I figured the best thing to do is probably just put together a quick little note and send it out, so it can be passed out to anybody who might have this question. So the biggest thing I can say that can be done right now from the parent's perspective is go to school boards. Specifically, obviously our school district has school board meetings every month. Everybody knows that. And what may not be well known is each school board can open with public comment. They usually have 5 slots. It's about 3 minutes per slot, right? So you can email or reach out or call the school district and tell them that you'd like to make public comment. They have a form they'll give you. You fill out the form, and then you got 3 minutes to kind of talk and basically speak on why why it's important for you, why it's important for your family, what would it mean to your kid, opportunities, things of that nature, right? And so that's what I would recommend. And if there's five, parents kind of get together, like, hey, I'm speaking this month. Did you sign up? Yes or no, or whatever the case may be. I'm busy on that day, but I can speak on August. But the bottom line is, if there's 5 slots open, then it should be filled with 5 parents, or as much as you can, at least a couple of slots. And it's just to have that constant, consistent, persistent messaging coming from school district parents, that this is something that we want to see happen. I think that would be very beneficial and helpful. I will say this: I do. In addition to that, I feel very positive. Right. I know there's been that soccer's been on the school board agenda a few times over the course of the last few years. In 2024, specifically involving me, and there's been there's been attempts before, 2018 and maybe 2022 or something like that. Either way, I think that as far as it relates to data that's been presented to the board, like black and white facts and how we can do it, that stuff has pretty much already been done. So the hay's kind of out of the barn there. So really, it's coming from the standpoint of just kind of hearing from, like I said, the people in the school district. What I will say is I'd like to update a little bit of that black and white information, specifically relating to the two major things that I have encountered during my time and having discussions with the school district was funding and enrollment. Those were two of the major obstacles or challenges that were discussed. So in relation to funding, for those who are not aware, April 7th, there was an election for a tax levy increase funding towards a school that was passed. And I know that was something that was mentioned in the early 2025 timeframe, as far as why we weren't ready to do soccer at that point in time, because there was a concern over funding and paying teachers and things of that nature. So that tax levy being passed on April 7th should definitely alleviate the pressure in that area. The other thing is was enrollment, right? So what I'm going to do is in the comment section of this video, I'm going to place a link. It's a resource from DESE where you can pretty much set up your search parameters in the drop-down boxes, and you can actually look at our enrollment, our current enrollment, and our enrollment history going back for about 10 or 11 years. You can break it down by building, or you can do total, whatever you want to do, and just kind of look at the enrollment trends. And so that way, if and when we're having a discussion in the future on enrollment, everybody knows exactly what we're talking about. There's no gray, there's no estimates. It's, this is what it is. So I think it's important that people have the necessary information needed when we have those types of discussions. So everybody's kind of on the same page, and we're not kind of, so probably best to go that route there. So last thing I'll say is this would be my only new thing, would be where do we play? And after, taking some more time, to reflect, and honestly, probably the best place to play will be on the turf field. And I say that also, it's important to discuss it here right now because I've had those discussions out in public, and the biggest rumor that I've heard is that our field is not big enough. That's not true, right? So our turf field is our high school turf field is as standard as you would see it anywhere else. Doesn't class size, school size has nothing to do with it. That turf is a standard turf that you would see at Lone Jack or Lee Summit or wherever. That is the standard, right? All those schools just mentioned and more have, football and soccer, both on those fields. So, and just to be sure, to validate, I actually went out there today myself with a tape measure, and we definitely have enough room. So we would have approximately 1.5 yards room between the edge of the turf, where the turf meets the track, and the soccer sideline. So if you're looking at our turf field and you look on the 50-yard line, you'll see the gold block and you'll see the blue block behind it. So if you just imagine where that blue block is, a straight line running down each side, and it goes basically towards the back of the end zone, or it aligns with the end zone. That's kind of where that's where your corner kicks. That's where the corners of the field's going to be. But yeah, we absolutely have enough room. So the length of the field is going to be about 120 yards, putting the midline right down the 50-yard line. So we don't need to order new turf. That's not necessary right now. There is turf safe paint, right? It's temporary paint. You can simply paint the lines. Makes the most logistical sense. And this in terms of, before it was discussed, well, we play somewhere out in Parks and Rec or whatever. Well, the any potential conflicts are now, with other sports, Parks and Recs, that's kind of eliminated. You've eliminated extra work for Parks and Rec as far as painting lines and field maintenance with the grass and all that type of thing. So, so yes, the bottom line is our turf field is absolutely standard size. It is big enough. We can play soccer on that. We just got to slap 2 soccer goals on the end, underneath those football goalposts, and paint some lines, and we're good to go. So, and to counter the point that would possibly come up is that, well, wear and tear. Now we're putting extra wear and tear on it. It's no different than the wear and tear of the teams of the schools that have both soccer and football, right? And you can go down the list of 100 schools or more in this state or across this nation that do that same thing. They both play soccer and football. So if someone was to mention that in a conversation with me, I would ask them, what's different about us? Why are we different than every other school in the nation that plays soccer and football in the same field? So anyway, I think that's about all I have for now. Like I said, I'll put the link for enrollment in the comments section. And bring it back around to the beginning. What can we do? There needs to be a presence, right? So I encourage you, if you want to see high school soccer for your kid or kids, I would encourage you to start reaching out to school district leadership, send them an email, tell them you want to make public comment, ask for the form, and I think that's probably the best thing we can do for right now. So, anyway, thanks for your time. Take care. Have a good day.